Hello and welcome to the Toon Squad 2. I am Brendan May, sitting in here with Kevin Kelly. What's up, Kevin?
Not much. We're missing our third musketeer.
Who needs him?
Jetting in the Hamptons, traveling around Rome.
John McHugh is absent today because he, quote-unquote, just had to take some time off and go to his family.
Hungover from Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy, this can all end right now if you man up and call in, McHugh. Call in, and this will all be over.
This pre-recorded radio show that you may never listen to, call in. He'll know. We actually just tried to call him, and he probably saw the caller ID, hates us, and didn't pick up. So, as you know, this is an all-sports talk show. We have 5 topics today. USA Hoops, John Wall, Matt Ryan, the Pelicans, and a big, great debate that we think is really going to turn some heads. So let's start. Kevin Durant, USA Hoops, maybe the star. LeBron not playing? Is Kevin the star?
Well, Coach K has said that Kevin Durant is the new face of USA basketball. I think Kevin Durant is a guy that Coach K likes a lot. He's very well spoken, very well educated, very smart basketball player. Guys like that Coach K really likes.
Name one coach who doesn't like Kevin Durant a lot.
No, I don't think I can tell you. There's a story where Rick Barnes, the head coach for University of Texas basketball, saw Jeff Van Gundy at a function down there when Van Gundy was the coach of the Rockets, and he says, "Hey Jeff, I got the best player in all basketball." And he goes, "You mean the best player in college basketball?" No. I mean the best player in all of basketball.
I love how you said a function, because knowing Jeff Van Gundy, I don't know the Texas coach at all. That was probably like at a club somewhere or like.
Oh, I'm sure the some boosters. Yeah.
Well, Kevin Durant he clearly loves playing on the team. LeBron, maybe not. LeBron likes playing basketball. We get that. Does he love playing on the USA basketball team? Maybe not. I mean, it kind of gets tiring being LeBron and just winning everything and, winning and winning and winning. And that may be why he leaves Miami eventually. So if Kevin's heart is in it, he may be the one.
I mean, LeBron had said that it's down the road and it's a decision he's going to make later, and that he'd like to bring gold back for the United States again, but he may not if the playoff grind is on him again.
John, you're awfully quiet. What do you think of this?
Would he be gone by now? No, it's only one. He'd be gone another hour. It's only 2:00.
Yeah.
He skips out at 3.
Asleep. Let's see. Went to bed at 3 a.m. probably.
Doesn't wake up till 4ish. Yeah, would get here at 4:30 and leave at 4:45.
Sort of Colbert Report to go to.
Tickets, yeah.
MLB
He's going to Kimmel.
Game. He's going to Kimmel.
He's flying out to Los Angeles to go to Kimmel.
So we're at a sports casting camp this week. Last week, John McHugh worked it. Although work is a loose term because he was only here maybe 30 seconds before he was leaving to go to the MLB All-Star Game.
Home Run Derby.
Generally just making
Colbert
us feel
Report.
terrible
Yeah.
at ourselves. Yeah. So if John McHugh is listening to this at all, screw you. Moving on.
I actually have some breaking news. Adrian Peterson says NFL players use HGH and he wants testing to even out the playing field.
I like that. Well, you know what he has to do then? Get
tested and make his results public.
Yeah. I think that's the solution
because
to everything.
he's a guy, you look at him, he had that grueling ACL injury that you don't come back the same from that, and he came back bigger and better than ever.
Yeah.
So he's a guy who people said, well, maybe he was using HGH. So if he took the first step and took the test and made the results public, then I think that would be a good step
Anyone
for all
can question
sports.
the system. You just have to stop talking and start acting to stop it. That's what everyone does. Everyone's like, oh, stop using HGH. All the people who use HGH, screw them. There's such an easy fix. Just get yourself tested, make the results public. No one will question you. We've talked about this before. If, I don't know, Derek Jeter got tested, no one, again, I don't think he took steroids.
Neither do I.
You know, he got stronger, whatever, but I don't think it was steroids at all. Just get tested.
Yeah.
Get tested.
That's all you have to do.
Show the results. They'll be fine. You know, he won't have steroids in him. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
And set the example, set the bar. We need someone like that. We need someone like Kobe in another sport to set the bar, set the example.
I agree. And I think a guy who would be a good example for that is John Wall, Kentucky.
Oh, boy.
Was he on steroids? Because he's not playing like he was at Kentucky.
This is a transition right here. Oh, yeah. Well, you know, he just signed the 5-year deal with $80 million. Is he worth it?
Nope.
No, you don't think so?
No. Yeah, they say in basketball, one guy can really make a difference. So if he's the one guy who's making a difference, how have they still at a losing record every year?
Yeah, they are building around him. I mean, LeBron had good role players. You know,
Mo Williams.
Michael Jordan didn't win the championship every year. It just seemed like it.
LeBron put the team on his back and took it to the finals in his third year.
Yeah, John Wall's
in John
a good
Wall's
player.
third year, he missed half the season.
John Wall's a good player.
And led 20 of the 32 point guards in turnovers.
I don't think he's worth it either. But if you think of sports as a business, what other jerseys are you going to sell in Washington? I mean, Bradley Beal jerseys. Who else? Trevor Ariza. I'm sure Trevor Ariza is selling a ton of jerseys.
You could trade John Wall for a good enough player. I think you could trade him to Detroit.
Do you think
for Andre
a
Drummond?
quote that Bill Simmons uses a lot that I like is, if you trade a blue chipper, you have to get a blue chipper back. OKC didn't get a blue chipper back. They got a bunch of, what's worse than blue? Red chippers. Red obviously is a much worse color than blue.
Yeah. Let's go with that.
So what can you get a blue? Is he a blue chipper? And if so, can you get a blue chipper back by trading John Wall?
I think he's borderline blue chipper. I think Kentucky, he was. We all knew. We thought he was going to be the second coming of the greatest point guard of all time. He hasn't been a disappointment, but he hasn't been what we wanted him to be. I think everyone wanted him to be LeBron.
He was never a scorer in college.
No.
He was just an athletic freak. He dished, he was a fast dribbler, whatever. I don't think he has the tools to be a superstar. He's a bad shooter. Fine, Rondo's, a bad shooter, whatever. He's very good, obviously. He just has to get smarter like Rondo.
Both those guys from Kentucky.
Yeah, all the Kentucky idiots, So another contract extension that happened recently, Matt Ryan signed a 5-year deal worth $103.7 million. Is he worth it?
Yeah, he's the $100 million man. I think he's totally worth it.
Just because he's in our top 5 most attractive QB rating.
I mean, Sam Bradford's there too, and he's not worth $100 million.
What did you say? Sam Bradford's half Cherokee.
That 1/8 Cherokee, man. It's like mysterious. I don't know what it is. He's got like another name probably that's like runs with cleats. Like
on the field, very good player. I mean, we were arguing today, could be a top 5 QB.
I
Definitely
think so.
Top 7, top 8 maybe.
Yeah, I think he's on the fringe right now. He's number 6, number 7. I think he needs to get. Peyton Manning. We look at Peyton Manning in the playoffs. Peyton Manning, up until he won that Super Bowl, was not a great playoff quarterback. And I think that's where Ryan is right now.
I'll tell you what. Do you think anyone would dispute Joe Flacco over Matt Ryan? Do you think that's even a discussion? I think you can actually.
I think it is a discussion. I think if I was starting a team today, I would take Matt Ryan.
Yeah, me too.
Because look at all the weapons that Flacco had. Pitta.
Don't even talk about weapons, because Matt Ryan has so much better weapons than anyone else.
But he uses them to the best of his advantage.
Two of the top 10 receivers in the NFL.
If you and I were playing wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons, Matt Ryan would still be a monster quarterback.
Weren't you actually going to try out soon for the Falcons? They just called him up.
I thought Tony Gonzalez was going to retire, and I was going to go out there as a tight end, but I didn't make the team, so they had to bring Tony Gonzalez back.
Well, if you're talking about weapons, I mean, the Falcons don't even compare. They have much better weapons.
No, but I'm saying I think you can take those weapons away.
My point is, what is the contract that Joe Flacco signed?
I think it's similar, 6 years, $100 million.
6 years, $100. He signed a huge contract.
Yep.
Just because he won the Super Bowl.
He's the second highest paid player in the NFL.
You know why he signed? He only signed that because they have to keep him because they just won the Super Bowl. Yeah. I don't think if you put Matt Ryan on that same team in the same situation, they wouldn't win the Super Bowl. I think they'd still win the Super Bowl.
I think they'd win the Super Bowl too. Yeah, I think Joe Flacco was interchangeable in that system.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that's just, we saw it in the Patriots with Wes Welker. Old with the out with the old, in with the new. Just get rid of one guy, bring in another guy. Get rid of Wes Welker, and obviously they're
Danny Amendola. You're gonna replace Wes Welker?
I was talking about Tim Tebow, but you can go with Danny Amendola too. I mean, our next topic, the Pelicans' alternate names. I asked you. You asked me to come up with 3 alternate names for the Pelicans. What's your first? Well,
I thought this was interesting because I saw that the New Orleans fans are nicknaming the Pelicans the Cans. We can do anything. I think that's stupid. I think you ditch the Pelicans name altogether. I thought of a couple. I think the Voodoo, the New Orleans Voodoo. They got
that doesn't play with the name, because we're not saying absolutely new names. We're saying just like the Warriors, how they're named the Dubs.
I like that.
Sort of a nickname for the nickname.
Yeah, and I sat down for a couple. I couldn't figure it. It's just weak.
He was sitting there for 10 hours.
It's weak.
Crumpled up papers. Yeah.
Pelicans is weak. You gotta ditch the whole thing.
Yeah, I like Pelicans. I mean, the story. It's their national or local bird, whatever.
The state bird of New York is probably the pigeon. There's no such thing as the New York Pigeons.
They should name the Jets the Pigeons.
They should. They play like pigeons.
That would be a lot better. My first name, I think Pelicans fans, I think a perfectly appropriate nickname for the Pelicans is the Hornets, because that's what I'm going to be calling them for the next, couple of years as I adjust to the new name.
I like that. I think that'll be difficult though when they play the Charlotte Hornets once the Bobcat changes their names back to the Hornets.
No, they're the Bobcats.
And you're saying I'm going to watch the big Hornets
Well, you
game?
know me. I call the Lakers the Minnesota Lakers. So.
So you're still calling the Utah Jazz the New Orleans Jazz?
Oh, yeah. You know me from the 1950s with my baseball cap on. We actually used to wear...
Boston Patriots.
We used to wear tuxedos to the games, I'm sure you know, in the black and white footage you've seen of me.
The fedoras.
Man. Oh, yeah.
The Freddie Coleman fedora.
Freddie Coleman, DeMaurice Smith fedora.
I actually heard an interesting fact today about the New England Patriots. Do you know who the Patriots logo is modeled after?
Jerry West.
Nope. Good guess.
Elvis.
Yep.
Elvis, yep. Flying
Elvis
Elvis.
Presley.
Yep.
How did you know that?
Flying, that's what they call it, the Flying Elvis.
I had no idea.
Is it? I thought they just called it. Did they take Elvis's face?
They took. I didn't know this. I heard this. I was listening to Boomer and Carton's replacement this morning. I don't know their names, but they're relevant. It's not Boomer and Carton.
Isn't that us?
Yeah.
That's what John McHugh's doing. He's not in the Hamptons. He's.
And they were talking about the opening of NFL training camps, and they were there, and as were Mike and ESPN, so it's kind of funny switching back and forth. They're in Foxborough. And Robert Kraft had sent down winter jackets because it was raining, and they had the logo on, and somebody had asked them, do you know who the logo is modeled after? And one of them had said George Washington, which is a logical answer.
That makes sense, yeah.
Patriots, and it was Elvis Presley. Robert Kraft apparently is a big Elvis Presley fan.
Okay.
And
well, if we knew anything about Bill Belichick, I'm sure we could have covered, he may have been a big Elvis Presley fan. You don't know. He may have been
a big Elvis Presley fan.
Other names for the Pelicans, I like the Selloutikins. Kind of a stretch, because the Hornets, the current Hornets, the Charlotte Hornets, wanted the Hornets back. The Pelicans were like, we don't care. We're just going to hand it over to you. We'll throw away all years and years of branding and fandom built up over the Hornets.
Since like 2003.
Huh?
That's not years and years of branding.
Years and way back. Well, I mean, I was 8 in 2003, so that was like half my life right there. Do you have any other names for the Pelicans, or are you just that terribly uncreative?
I don't think you can work with it. I honestly don't. I think I don't think you can work with Pelicans. I really can't think of it. I think you just scrap it all together. I had the Voodoo. I kind of liked the Blues. Like the
Blues?
Blues.
Oh, I like that one. Yeah, well, there already is a Blues.
The Blues. I forget what other ones I had. I think I had
I like the
this is something like the New Orleans Hurricanes.
Again, there's another Hurricanes franchise.
So there's 2 Rangers franchises. There's 2 Giants franchises.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, and our final argument of the day, which is, who do you think the number 3 best player in the NBA? And let me set up this. Okay, the question is number 3 best player in the NBA after, obviously, Brian Scalabrine and... No, I'm just kidding.
Luke Harrington.
I hate that, by the way. People saying, oh, he's the best.
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
He's not the worst.
He's not. No.
He's not the worst.
A fine role. There are people who you just can't name who are much worse than him. He made it to the NBA, looking like you. So that's a compliment right there.
I would take Brian Scalabrine over Adam Morrison.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm still holding out hope for the Larry Bird 2.0 thing, but we'll see. So here's what happened in this class that we're taking. We put up, on the whiteboard, we had a draft. 13 players were involved, or 13 people were involved drafting. 13 GMs. We had 6 rounds. It was 5 players a team plus a bench player.
Yep.
It was a snake draft. Kevin lucked out, probably some sort of under the table work.
Well, that's how the real NBA draft lottery works, right? It's fixed.
Yeah, we wanted to copy the real NBA. So
we booed the commissioner.
So I had the number 3 pick though, and that's a tough decision.
Well,
I would much rather the 10th pick than the 3rd pick, to be honest with you. But I chose James Harden. I wasn't completely set on that. I was thinking of Derrick Rose. I was thinking of Kyrie Irving. I was thinking of Steph Curry. There's maybe 7 or 8 players you can argue in there to take the place of James Harden at the number 3 pick. Who would you take?
I think it depends who you're going to build your team around. Who was your 2nd round pick?
Kawhi Leonard.
Okay, yeah. You didn't go for a big lineup.
No, I didn't. I had let me tell you. I had in the 1st round I took Harden, and then when my pick came around again, I took Kawhi Leonard, then Klay Thompson, then Ty Lawson. So that's pretty much 4 guards right there.
Yeah.
I ended up taking Larry Sanders and Greg Monroe to fill out my front court. But, yeah, I had a very small lineup.
See, but I think if you knew you were going to go with a small court lineup, then your pick at James Harden was good. I think you could have taken James Harden or Steph Curry. I think those 2 could have been interchangeable.
Retrospect, I might have taken Steph Curry. Although, do you think people, a couple years ago, just like what we were talking about with Joe Flacco, great postseason.
Yep.
That's it. That's all people talk about.
Yeah.
Either because it's fresh in people's mind or because it matters. And it does. That the postseason matters more than the regular season, whatever. Same thing happened with Roy Hibbert last year, and he shot something like 40% from a center who's 9 feet 14 or whatever. That's ridiculous.
400 pounds.
So
Yeah.
do you think it's just because Steph Curry's only been, in the spotlight for a few months now after, that coming out party for the Warriors? Do you think it's just because he's fresh in your mind?
Well, I think he's always been a good shooter. I think he's always been a good point guard. But I think Mark Jackson got there and realized, wow, I have a team of great shooters. Let me work on my team's strengths. And I think that's what not enough GMs in pro sports, period, are doing. I think he was very smart in that decision that he saw, look, I have these two great shooters. Let me tell them, guys, go out and light it up. Steph, don't worry about getting in down low. David Lee will get his shots. If you go out and shoot threes, we will be successful.
Yeah, and I ended up getting Klay Thompson. So,
good pick.
So James Harden ended up being my point guard, which I thought was fine. Ty Lawson was my sixth man off the bench. But some other options to consider. Kyrie Irving is super young. It wasn't just a 1 year thing.
20-year-old all-star point guard.
That's ridiculous. 20. He could be playing for conceivably 17 more years.
Yeah.
On your team. Although with the stupid way that the NBA is set up, it'll be like a 5-year contract, a 5-year contract, a 5-year contract.
Yeah.
And each time he'll have time to opt out or whatever. Great pick, Kyrie Irving. I'm not knocking that at all. I James Harden, Steph Curry, whatever. Some other options, maybe Russell Westbrook. Maybe some other options. Someone threw out Kobe, which didn't make any sense.
Yeah, he's
to me,
too old. I think Dwight Howard would have been a reach.
Dwight Howard.
But I think it
Dwight
could have
Howard,
happened.
interestingly enough, and this is a group of pretty smart people in sports-wise. Fell to about maybe the 25th pick.
Yeah, I
could
took.
it be that it's like New York fans and we just hate Dwight Howard now, or what?
No, I could have taken Dwight Howard as my center. I went LeBron, and then I went Brook Lopez.
Okay,
As
yeah,
my
that
center.
makes sense. Marcus Gasol.
I would have taken Marcus Gasol. Marcus Gasol was gone.
Good pick in the second round, yeah.
My strategy was I got LeBron, so I pretty much had already locked up a top 2 seed.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So then I went, well, I don't want to take shots away from LeBron, so I went Brook Lopez, Ricky Rubio, who is a point guard who's there purely to pass.
Ricky Rubio was a very good pick.
No one's ever asked him to score points. Who else? I went OJ Mayo, Joe Johnson, and Zach Randolph.
Yeah.
Just put role players around LeBron.
Yeah, and you lucked out and got LeBron. It wouldn't have mattered if you didn't have a pick for another 50 picks or so. Yeah. You could have,
I would have been a top 3 team with
seed,
just LeBron. Yeah.
So that's, I think, why the third seed is so interesting, because it can go either way. Mm-hmm. If you take a guy like Steph Curry and all the stuff that they said about how he can't play defense, which he's not a great defender, how he just got hot at the right time, that could come back and bite you in the ass because it's the third pick. You're skipping on maybe more consistent guys like Russell Westbrook, like other guys who are CP3.
Chris Paul,
someone threw out, yeah. Someone said Tony Parker, which I thought was interesting. What do you think with Tony Parker?
No, the age is an issue.
He's not too old.
He's 30.
He's 30. That's not bad.
But yes, he is 30. But there's point guards who are as good as him or better that are younger that I would take.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that's why Kyrie Irving is in the discussion. I think that's why Steph Curry, Russell Westbrook. Why do you think we're necessarily only talking about point guards? Do you think there's a reason for that, or do you think it's just the depth of the position?
I think right now we're in the NBA. We're seeing the greatest era of point guards in the
because
history
of the small
NBA.
ball era.
I do. And I think we've got Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul. Say what you will about Rondo, but Rondo.
Yeah. I'm with you. I love Rondo. Yeah.
I mean, you could say that John Wall is one of the bottom point guards. Well, not bottom, but middle of the pack point guards in the NBA.
Maybe the 5th round. John Wall may have been someone's 6th man off the bench.
He's a middle of the round. He's a middle of the pack point guard in the NBA.
Yeah.
10 years ago, he would have been the number 1 point guard in the NBA.
Don't you think that maybe that would influence you to get a big guy like Marc Gasol?
Yeah.
Marc Gasol you could consider with your third pick. Why not? He was a stud.
Yeah.
Marc Gasol can't be your superstar, though. And Marc Gasol can't be the guy to have the ball at the end of the game and facilitate his own offense like Kobe can, like LeBron can, like KD can, like even Harden or Rose can. But Rose is another one. We'll talk about
that was a problem his brother had. Pau, when he was with the Memphis Grizzlies, and he was
Pau was never as good defensively as Marc Gasol is.
No, but I think he wasn't he didn't play as big either. But
yeah,
he wasn't the guy that you would want having the last shot in the game. But he eventually got to the Lakers, and they helped him find his shot.
Yeah.
So I think now I would be okay with if Kobe's not available to put the ball.
But
in
what
the
I'm
South
saying,
Stand.
I guess, is if you can take Marc Gasol in the first round,
yep,
and then wait and get a guy like John Wall later on, would that be better off than taking James Harden, Derrick Rose, whatever in the first round?
Getting
Derrick Rose obviously much better than John Wall, and we'll talk. We were just talking about John Wall. You didn't think he was worth the contract that they gave him, which is the max contract.
But I think he's worth a 5-year deal worth $60 million.
Yeah.
But I think $80 million to stretch.
Yeah, totally. I'm with you. Yeah. Okay, I think that will wrap things up for the Toon Squad 2. Screw you, John McHugh. They said John Tyler and Tippecanoe was their slogan. Our slogan is the Toon Squad 2. Screw you, John McHugh. That'll wrap things up, and we are